Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you to have your attention. Thank you for being here. I'm Cindy Downing, Program Officer at the James Irvine Foundation, and I'm delighted to welcome you, both in person and online, to this special celebration. Tonight, we honor 7 incredible leaders, women, who are breaking barriers and driving real change across California. They are advancing Indigenous food sovereignty, promoting environmental justice, improving maternal health, advocating for inclusion in media, advancing Latina leadership, and expanding access to basic needs like food, shelter, and education. These leaders are making a difference in their communities, and they're a powerful example of what happens when women step into leadership roles. Since 2006, the James Irvine Foundation has recognized 130 changemakers who are tackling California's toughest challenges with creativity, dedication, and bold ideas. This year's honorees continue that tradition, and it's truly an honor to celebrate them tonight. Now, to kick things off, I'm pleased to introduce Irvine's CEO and President, Don Howard.
I can't see a thing with those lights, but I guess I don't have to. But I did earlier see so many friendly faces and familiar folks. Thank you so much for coming tonight. If we ever needed a shot in the arm of hope and optimism, the time is now. So as Cindy mentioned, I'm the CEO and President of the James Irvine Foundation. Just such a privilege to be in the role I'm in. I was telling someone earlier, in the moments we're in, being able to provide resources to leaders like all of you to be able to do the important work in our state just brings me some sense of solace and some sense of being able to have power and agency. So thank you for letting us provide resources to you to do the most important work that's necessary in our state right now. So I do know, usually at these events, there are a lot of friends and family of the awardees who are in the audience. And there's a little excitement, and sometimes I think people are holding back. So just let's take a moment to applaud, scream, yell, get it out of your systems. So as Cindy said, tonight we recognize an extraordinary group of changemakers, leaders who are improving lives, creating opportunity, and making California a better place for all of us. Before we meet this year's recipients, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some special guests who are joining us tonight. So I'd like to mention Judge Lucy Armendariz from Los Angeles County, Senate Majority Leader Lena Gonzalez, the Director of the California Department of General Services, Anna Lasso, Undersecretary for the California Government Operations Agency, Sarah Sotomayor, and Senator Bob Archuleta. We also have a number of our board members from Irvine in the room. I want to acknowledge our tremendous board chair, my colleague and partner, Tim Rios. Tim? I can't see that. So, and there's a number of other board members. I won't go through name by name, but if you could stand up or raise your hands, thank you for the contributions you make to leading the James Irvine Foundation. Okay, last but not least are the Selection Awards Committee. So we have a committee of folks, independent of the foundation, with a couple of foundation folks on the committee, who go through hundreds and hundreds of applications and nominations to winnow it down to find the 7 winners that we have here tonight. But I want to thank the Selection Award Committee folks. Please stand up and let's give them a round of applause. So to all the public servants, and I know there's folks who weren't on the list, but to everyone on the list and all the other public servants who are here, I sometimes say my mom was in public service for 40 years. I know how hard it is, I know how important it is, and I know how seldomly people get thanked for the important work that keeps our state running. So thank you for what you do and your commitment to the people of California. And we all know California is facing some big challenges. And economic uncertainty, social inequities, and the ongoing challenges of trying to build a more inclusive future. And I'll admit there are moments when I feel pretty down and I struggle to stay positive. But in this room tonight, we're going to have an opportunity and we're going to get to see something powerful, hope. We'll be meeting leaders who are stepping up with bold solutions and an unwavering commitment to making tomorrow better than today. And now let me introduce Paulette Brown-Hines, a valued member of Irvine's Board of Directors, a colleague, a friend, and the outgoing chair of our Leadership Awards Selection Committee. Paulette has played a key role in selecting the inspiring leaders we're celebrating tonight. We're deeply grateful for her dedication and leadership. Please join me in welcoming Paulette to the stage.
Thank you, Dawn. This room looks great, so full. Now let's celebrate the extraordinary leaders. Some of the logistics for tonight. We will show brief videos highlighting each recipient and their work. And we kindly ask that you hold your applause until each video ends and we announce the leaders.
As a developed country, we still have very poor maternal health outcomes. Mortality rates are 3 to 6 times higher among Black women. By addressing the healthcare needs of Black women, we can address the needs of all women.
Look, that's you.
The Black Doula Network is a flagship program of Black Wellness and Prosperity Center.
So never be afraid to ask questions.
A doula is like your personal coach. Preconception, during pregnancy, after pregnancy, except they do not administer clinical care.
If you feel uncomfortable about anything, that's where we kind of step in and advocate for mom, baby.
The Black Doula Network has been in the forefront of addressing the disparities in perinatal health. Patients have better pregnancy outcomes, decreased preterm birth, decreased C-section, all of the most common risk factors of maternal mortality.
I have 4 children. Alrighty. My pregnancies were hard. My second child, I actually almost lost him. At that time, I did not have a doula. I thought it was something that only wealthy women could afford.
In the state of California, doula services is now a Medi-Cal benefit, expanding that support to all women. We knew that we had to build our doula infrastructure because we have the benefit, but no doulas to provide the support. So that is why we have developed a very rigorous 125-hour doula training program.
We talk about different cultural competency.
We partnered with scientific illustrators to develop our own illustrations. We have a high-tech simulation lab.
Are you ready?
Liv, as we call her, can simulate a racing heart, contractions. Almost any health state that we feel is relevant to make sure that our doulas are prepared.
You can see baby's head is coming down. 1, 2, 3, go.
Let's go.
Oh,
The shoulders are out.
good.
And we have a baby.
In our training, we have a hospital observation component, which many training programs do not have. Working with the hospitals has been one of the most significant partnerships that we've been able to build, because historically doulas have been not considered part of the healthcare team, but they have to be considered part of the healthcare team because they are.
When my oldest son was being born and I could hear the doctor say that they can't find his heartbeat, I felt helpless and not being able to speak. This round with my last baby, again, they could not find my baby's heart rate. It would have been a traumatic experience if it wasn't for my doula. Because her and I already knew what my desires were. So she was able to speak up.
And that's what keeps me going, because that's how healthcare should be.
Thank you for joining me in celebrating Shante Davies-Balch, CEO of the Black Wellness and Prosperity Center. As you've seen through her leadership, she's improving Black maternal health by training doulas and promoting culturally competent care. Shante Davies-Balch.
Almost anything that you can imagine that will be eaten is grown in the Central Valley. But that agricultural practices used to produce these massive amounts of food has come at a very high cost to our communities.
En sus casas, ¿a cuántos de ustedes le ha salido el agua así café? ¿Se gusta levantar la mano?
Our focus is people in the Central Valley, and how can we make sure that we're protected from pesticides, water contamination, air pollution, extreme heat, and that they know their labor rights. A lot of environmental justice organizations focus on only one issue. They only work on water, or they only work on pesticides. We decided that we cannot do that because the same community could be affected by all those issues at the same time.
Sí hay como unas complicaciones de tomar agua que tenga alto manganeso.
We offer short-term solutions while we are working on policy.
Entonces, nosotros lo que les vamos a ofrecer el día de hoy es un filtro. No les va a costar a ustedes nada.
We have been able to get filters to over 100 households. We also work on educating farm workers in particular how to be protected from multiple sources of pollution.
Yo he trabajado en el campo por más de 26 años, manipulando las pesticidas, echándole mucho para que la fruta esté bien grandota, para que se venda y se vea bonita, pero lo que yo no sabía es que pues no sirve porque está lleno de químicos. Causa cáncer, causa enfermedades. Tengo muchas alergias. Mi niña chiquita sufre de asma.
A lot of farm workers not only are exposed when they are working, but living near these fields where pesticides are applied. We were able to get the Department of Pesticide Regulation to establish a pesticide notification system that will alert residents before pesticides are applied. With the air pollution, IBAN is a system we borrow from a sister organization in the Imperial Valley, where we empower residents to report any environmental problem in their community. CCGN receives a report and then channel that report to the different agencies that have jurisdiction over this issue.
The beauty of developing community leaders is that you multiply the power of the organization. If you help a community resolve one issue, they will be ready to go to the next because they are empowered already, they are organized to make an impact.
¿Cómo sigues? Desechos de comida aquí. We established La Milpa de Fresno, a demonstration farm where we're growing food using sustainable methods.
Pues he aprendido mucho cómo cultivar comidas saludables, sin químico. La milpa ayudando a desarrollarnos más independientemente.
In the valley, we really want to take better care of our resources, our water, our soil. There is a lot of knowledge among community members, but it's connecting the dots. What is causing that pollution? And what can they do to change that?
So as Executive Director for Central California Environmental Justice Network, Nayamin Martinez is fighting for justice and resiliency for those most impacted by pollution and extreme heat. Congratulations.
We have tribes in this territory that have never been removed from their Aboriginal lands.
Look at that. Thanks, Auntie.
That have never stopped their cultural practices or their passing on of knowledges.
Before you pick it, you would leave an offering of tobacco, food.
Peoples who are able to live in the same place, minimum 15,000 years, have to know how to live in a place sustainably.
There's a story actually in Hoopa. They say in the beginning of time, they came to us and they were like, human beings are not so smart. But if you build food systems that are based on indigenous practices of responsibility, reciprocity, and respect, then you're gonna be okay.
Indigenous sciences are not taken seriously within Western academic settings. And so the Food Sovereignty Lab and Traditional Ecological Knowledge Institute on the Cal Poly Humboldt campus is really about focusing on Indigenous sciences as something that is worthy of being studied, right, for a broader campus community.
Hey, I'm Michaela Holia Natanoi Ate Natano Sutai. I was raised here, and then when I left when I was 21, I felt like I lost my love for the land a little bit. And then when I came back, I found the Food Sovereignty Lab and saw the opportunity of being on the Youth Council.
So let's talk a little bit first about the Indigenous Garden Volunteer Day. The goal is to connect youth with food sovereignty, indigenous science, and traditional ecological knowledge so that they can kind of understand the connection between the health of the land and the health of the people. We're bringing indigenous students into higher education in a way that says, like, you belong here. They are a part of how you create knowledge.
We really prioritize kind of a collaborative relationship with our local tribal nations and our programming. We do speaker series, we do film series.
So you have to dry them.
We have a yearly Indigenous Foods Festival. Right now we're working with a local tribe, the Blue Lake Rancheria, to help process some of the vegetables that are coming out of their Indigenous food sovereignty garden. Students are learning a lot about master food preserving and canning, and they're seeing that you could actually grow, process, and engage with your own foods.
Definitely my eyes have opened up a lot more. The trees that are outside of my property, their berries are edible. A lot of plants that I have also in my yard, finding out what they are and what their benefits are has been very rewarding and makes me feel more connected to my land.
There's nothing quite like this that provides this kind of knowledge for the community. Not just for Indigenous students or just Indigenous people. It's a place for everyone to be able to connect with this space and learn about our history so that we can connect with ourselves and each other in a better way.
Thank you, honey.
The fact that we continue to teach our young people how you care for the land, the fact that we stood up to an entire government system that was trying to keep us from passing on our Indigenous science, that to me speaks to the resiliency, the strength of Indigenous peoples.
So Cutcha, Risling, Baldy, and Caitlin Reed, as co-directors of the Roe Dalagur Food Sovereignty Lab and Traditional Ecological Knowledges Institute, are improving community well-being by uplifting Indigenous knowledges and food sovereignty. Congratulations.
Los Angeles County Library is the second largest library system in North America by location. And if you are paying attention, you'll see that not everyone who comes to the door needs a book. Some people need Wi-Fi, some people need food. Parents need a safe place for their kids to go. And we can provide service, provide support, and meet them in their neighborhood. The public library is about literacy in all different facets. We have 86 locations across 49 cities, and there's over 150 languages spoken in the county of Los Angeles. Something that I started when I came on board was to take a step back and look at our communities and ask questions about what they need, and then utilize the entire team to build programs based on the community needs.
I came into the library because I was working on my college degree. I had some bad choices, gangs, drugs, I did some jail time, and I needed to pick myself up. I didn't have a computer, needed help with internet use. I needed help with Microsoft in general, and I didn't have any means of knowing how to do it. And they have free courses, and they helped me with continuing what I needed to do in school. Sure.
Our team saw that a lot of students in California didn't have access to Wi-Fi, so we expanded our Wi-Fi capabilities out into our parking lots to ensure that you can access the public library 24 hours, 7 days a week. That led to laptop and hotspot checkouts for anyone who needs them.
Because of the resources here, I was able to complete my associates. I grabbed 4 of them, and I was able to work in the library and learn the Dewey Decimal System, shelving books, or how to take books out of rotation.
It's super unusual for libraries to embrace a public health agenda, and Skye really has done that across the board on almost every issue that's been of importance to us.
Hi, how can I help you?
The library has a Narcan kit.
Yes.
At 5 of our locations, you can request a naloxone kit and take it home, no questions asked.
Over this last year, we've seen a reduction in our overdose deaths here in LA County, and I attribute it in part to what we're doing at our libraries.
These are things that people don't think about when they think about public libraries. But we have tutoring programs, we have food programs, sewing machines, hammers, we have baking utensils, power washers, just everything is about borrowing.
At last, the cake is ready. The frostings.
Honestly, I never went to a library as a kid, so it was new to me. And everything that they had, every tool, every resource, it all helped me get to where I'm at now.
Libraries are at the core of knowledge, and they're at the core of intellectual freedom. And you come in the door and discover things that you may not have known about and have it at your fingertips.
Once again, at the helm of LA County Library, Skye Patrick is redefining the role of libraries as hubs of inclusion, innovation, and impact.
In Hollywood, any way we really think about women or people of color or the intersection of gender and race, there's a real disparity between what's happening on screen and what's happening in reality. Films directed by and starring women of color, white women, underrepresented men, are they getting the same production budgets, the same marketing budgets? Are they in the same number of theaters as their white male counterparts? And we're really working to try to level the playing field. We're the leading global think tank studying issues of representation on screen and behind the camera in Hollywood. What are you working on right now? Students are assigned content to evaluate. They look at all sorts of variables on screen, on stage, and also in music. Whether it's gender identity, racial identity, how aging is shown on screen, and making sure that their data is reliable.
The Inclusion Initiative is the reason that I'm at USC. The media that we consume has such a subconscious effect on the way that we build an understanding of the world and, more importantly, build an understanding of ourselves.
But I never saw myself as like a scientist, as a girl with a lab coat. You know, I wanted to be part of the action, the entertainment, and I didn't realize just how crucial it was to get underneath and really understand who's leading in Hollywood.
We put out well over 100 actual studies, and the work is being seen, it's being heard, and people are using it in spaces to try to create change.
We at Netflix wanted to really hold ourselves accountable and look at everything we're making to get a better sense of who's being seen and heard and who's not.
We have a 5 to 6 year commitment with them to evaluate them over time. Think about a company that says, we're opening up our files and we're gonna let somebody audit us and tell the world how we're doing and really focus on solutions for change.
We had made a commitment for $100 million for a Creative Equity Fund to make sure that we were looking at representation in front of and behind the screen. And so all of the data and findings of Dr. Smith and her team have been instrumental in figuring out where are the places we can have the most impact.
We worked really closely with Coco Francini and Kate Blanchett on our proof of concept accelerator to give money to women, trans, and non-binary directors.
Our goal is to create an ecosystem of change. And this is coming from the Annenberg Inclusion Initiative's research that the 3 barriers they find is these directors don't have financing, they don't have exposure, and they don't have mentorship.
We realized that the lack of representation on screen was a real problem for actors. So I thought about what would an acting accelerator look like for people that have talent, but they don't have access to the resources. And so we partnered with NBC Universal.
What you finna do in California anyway? The NBC Universal Casting Accelerator was a program that sought to amplify and diversify unknown talent in front of the camera. I was able to establish very genuine relationships inside of the network, from the talent management side all the way up to the executives and producers. It definitely was a game changer.
We've worked with well over 1,000 students in the lab as paid research assistants.
This is kind of where the magic happens.
And now they're working their way up the ranks in the entertainment industry, employing the exact same principles that they were taught here. There's not one metric of success or change. It's a constant evaluation to see how can you help folks to understand what they may be missing out on.
We are so excited. We're so excited to celebrate Stacy L. Smith, founder and director of Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, for championing representation in entertainment through actionable research and advocacy. Congratulations, Stacy.
Appreciate everyone coming from San Diego all the way up from San Jose, Fresno, we have Bakersfield. We love you all. We as Latinas make up 20% of the population in California. We need to ensure we have economic policy that raises up the Latina community. Are you with me? Our mission is economic and political parity for Latinas. So our goal at Hope is to ensure that we're always at the table.
Everything that Hope does has a civic engagement lens to it, from leadership development to an advocacy agenda to doing our own original research. And after 26 years, we have over 2,000 alumni. That's inclusive of our youth, our college, our leadership institute, and our binational fellowship.
Hope is the first and the only statewide institute in California focused on investing in Latinas to become stronger leaders.
I became involved with Hope over 20 years ago. I was a young lawyer. I was maybe 4 years in, thinking maybe I would get into the lobbying world, but Hope really opened up my eyes as to dream even bigger.
Bill is set at $30,000.
Thank you, Your Honor. When I was 8 years old, I was placed in foster care. And I aged out of the foster care system. So I didn't necessarily have parents as a safety net, parents to help guide me. Hope helped me learn about the systems that are in place to be able to navigate those systems. That request for reconsideration is denied. Do you want a bail review?
This is why this group is really important, because we'll learn the formal, and then there's the what? Informal. So what kind of politics did you have to do? Who did you have to call?
What is different about Hope is its commitment to not only Latina leaders, but the issues that affect and impact Latino communities.
Latina-owned businesses are the fastest growing segment of small businesses in the United States. But there is not enough capital being invested in Latina businesses. There is also a huge Latina wage pay gap. In a city like Los Angeles, Latinas make 34 cents to the dollar of a white male counterpart. And so we try to address that through our work.
This current report serves as a call to action for all policymakers.
Our Latinas are ready to take charge.
To support inclusive entrepreneurship.
They're in local communities ensuring that Latinas are at every table of decision making.
Today, Latinas face immense inequality.
Over time, we give back to Hope. And we ensure that Hope continues to invest in other women.
We just keep expanding and growing and train the next generation.
Sounds like there's some Hope alumni in the crowd. So finally, leading the charge for Hope, Helen Iris Torres. She is advancing democracy and strengthening communities through Latina civic leadership. Thank you, Helen. So on behalf of all of us at the Irvine Foundation, congratulations to the 2025 Leadership Award recipients. Reading their applications was so impressive, but seeing the videos even more impressive, and having all of you here tonight. Please help us amplify the great work of these leaders by posting on social media tonight using the hashtag Irvine Awards. And you'll also find QR codes on every table. So for those of you who are here in the room, we invite you to take part in capturing this special evening through these QR codes. And if they're on the back tables, you're going to simply scan one and then take and share photos using the POV app. Your photos will appear on the screen throughout the rest of the event tonight. So please do, so we can see them. And as a special bonus, they will also be provided to you digitally tomorrow. So you'll have documentation of tonight's event. Before we close, one final note. Nominations for the 2026 Leadership Awards are now open. So if you know a leader or a leadership pair doing innovative work that benefits the people of California, please nominate them and visit irvineawards.org to learn more. Thank you all for being here tonight, and congratulations again to our honorees.
Everything is over.